Two, one. Hello and welcome to the MegaMonsterCast, where today we are talking about the first episode of Tengoku Daimakyo, or Heavenly Delusions. Um, I am
Prepare
Nick.
to
With
be
me is Josh.
traumatized. Hello.
So this is our show that we are replacing Godzilla Singular Point with. Um, that show kind of ended on a down. It was a good ending, relatively speaking, but our thoughts overall on it weren't generally the most positive, so it was overall a downer series for us. Whereas
Oh
I
yeah.
think starting off this one, there's already a lot more potential for it than there was for the last couple of shows that you and I did solo.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, there's so much potential in this show.
Oh yeah. Um, so let's just well, first I'm gonna give my initial thoughts on this show. So
Okay.
for context, this show, Josh has watched the entirety of. I've watched the first. It turns out I thought it was three. I've only watched the first two episodes so far.
Oh, okay.
I like it so far. Um, I've got some ideas about where it might be going, and there's a couple things that have been said where I'm like kind of curious about it. Um,
Okay. Go ahead.
I
Go ahead.
did
Give me
like
those thoughts.
I did like a cursory lookup of it just to like see if it was like still ongoing and stuff, but I've mostly avoided spoilers, so I don't know for sure exactly what's going on. Um, so my thoughts going into this one, because you had suggested this be our next show that we watched.
Yeah.
Um, I wasn't really sure 100% what to expect. Like I knew that there were some sort of kaiju or kaiju-esque creatures in this, but I wasn't like generally familiar with it. And after watching the first couple of episodes, yeah, I'm curious, if only because I'm not really sure where it's going. It's got an interesting vibe to it, and it has like a couple of elements to it that almost feel like kind of like retro futuristic to it,
Hmm.
like a Fallout type of thing, especially the laser gun that we get.
Yes.
Like it all
For
feels very like
Hero Beam.
old school sci-fi meets current sci-fi to me.
Yeah. This whole thing was kind of dreamt up during the whole. I believe it was like the during the earthquakes and the tsunamis that Japan got hit with a few years ago. You're mute. Your phone, by the way.
Okay, yeah.
Um, so the director kind of made this to feel like there's some dread involved in the unknown.
Okay, I could kind of see that.
Also, this first season is adapting like 30 something chapters, I think.
Okay.
And there's no word yet. The season two's been on hold so they can put out more of the manga so they can kind of catch up.
That makes sense. Well, so let's just dive right in, I guess.
All right.
Episode starts on a scene of a bunch of tomato plants, and we get like what appears to be like a bunch of school children working
Mm-hmm.
in a garden, walking around. Generally, like kind of living school children-esque lives. Based off of the setup, it looks like it's maybe like a boarding school, but we see that like the sky is just like a bunch of lights.
Yeah, it's
Kind of
definitely a
setting up.
facility.
Yeah, so like automatically we're getting the whole like it's some sort of facility. That's again why I kind of got like Fallout vibes. It feels almost like a vault where like Uh, just based off of the the general weirdness that we get, like the fact that they're being taught by robots, and the fact that later on, one of the characters we see their doppelganger out in the real world. Um, it kind of leads me to believe maybe there's I mean the show has a bunch of sci-fi, but I'm wondering if like maybe cloning's going on or if like other medical experiments are going on. We also get like a girl who draws this like fish monster with a bunch of legs, and I'm wondering if that thing's gonna pop up again eventually. Like maybe we're gonna see that in real life. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, you're so dead on so many things.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So like, and again, trying my best not to like get spoilers on this at all, but like some of these things feel like they're trying to set something else up. Like that monster, again, I'm not saying we're gonna get it exactly, but it feels like it's setting up like maybe this is where they're designing the creatures we're running into later on.
Not not exactly, no.
Okay. That's fair. I'm sure we'll learn over time. Yeah, so this is kind of where one of our plots takes place. We have two major plots taking place simultaneously. I consider this, despite the fact that this is the plot we are initially shown, I really consider this more the B plot of the two, considering like the A plot with the two people out in the
It,
world is a little
it
more engaging, and I think we spend more time with them.
you are 100% correct on that one. B plot is the school.
Yep. I'm wondering if maybe they did the school stuff first, just to like get a little more investment with that, because I feel like if it had been the other way around, I wouldn't have cared at all about the school stuff.
Uh, that school is going to be very important.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Like it screams this is important, especially considering again, it's weird. We have a character that looks exactly like another character on the outside, and you just generally get like a sense of unease and oh, this is a bad situation coming from this place.
Mhm.
But as of right now, I don't care about them as much as I care about like our two on the road characters.
You probably won't care for him in as much anyway until probably I'm trying to remember if it was 4 or 5.
Okay. So like about like a third to halfway through the show.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, so we get like a little school life stuff, and then we cut to the characters that I generally like, who are walking over what appears to be like a big overpass. Two characters, um, the doppelganger of a girl that we see inside of the school, but it's a boy with slightly shaggier hair, and a girl who later on, I don't remember if it's this episode or next episode, we see she's just covered in scars.
It should be towards the end of this
Uh-huh.
episode
See,
because
I
beginning
was
of next episode we get into the.
yeah, and like I kind of we'll talk about that later on because I have like specific vibes that I'm getting off of like what is said in that episode, but I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves.
Mhm.
So I'll say this, like the shot where they're walking over the overpass and it like zooms out to show the landscape, it's really good. Again, I have this like slight problem with it, and it's super nitpicky where it just feels like they're a little bit not connected to the environment. But that happens with everything when you're doing like big sweeping landscape shots in anime.
Yeah,
Like it's again, it's a super small nitpick, and
they have
that's
that
the
slight like floaty effect.
yeah, yeah, and it's again that's the biggest nitpick in this episode I have. So if
Mhm.
that's the biggest nitpick in episode 1, then it's a very strong start to the series. Um, cue our title credit or title
Yeah.
card. Um,
And then
the,
the first hint to our big monster.
yes, yes, which I didn't realize at the time, but like going back, fairly obvious because we get all these crows flying off and reveal that the first monster we get in this is a crow monster. Again, that's either the very end of this episode or the start of the next episode we get that too, right?
Midway through this, and then again at the very end.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because we do see like the it outside of the windows.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And then we get like some sweeping shot of the landscape as these two late teen, early 20s people are
Uh,
walking through.
Maru, I believe, is like age 15, and Kiru is estimated to be like, I think it was like 18 or 20.
Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking. I knew that I thought she was 20, but I thought that. I was getting that vibe at least, like definitely older than him. I think he says that too.
Mm-hmm.
But like that was the vibe I was getting was like early 20s. And they're going through the city searching various like searching through a house to try to find supplies, which is kind of where we're getting like the setup of some big catastrophe had to have happened at some point in the past because the buildings are all dilapidated that we see. Um,
They didn't survive the singular point.
no, this is the universe where it failed. But they go through and like they're psyched about finding like
Toilet
obvious
paper.
supplies like, oh hey, I found toilet paper. Hey, I found a toothbrush. Hey, let's go check to make sure the toilet's working. Turns out it's got plants growing inside of it.
But I mean, look how look how much people freaked out during like the whole uh 2019 2021 era of like no toilet paper.
Oh yeah, no, dude, I totally remember that. Like it's
Ugh.
honestly very relatable having lived through like I remember when you could like there was like what 2 weeks you couldn't buy toilet paper or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I remember that.
Flat
That
out.
was like it works in retrospect. Like this, a lot of these little moments at the start of the episode work for people who went through that. I think like I'd be curious to see how it ages for some people because like it's kind of a novel idea of it before that, and in like 20 years it would be a novel idea for people again. But I think like right now we're at this sweet spot where hey, everybody remembers this. Everyone remembers not being able to get toilet paper. So yeah, toilet paper when you can't get it is a big deal. Especially considering it looks like in this world they're probably not making toilet paper at all.
Yeah, no, it's a very, very small communities
Hmm.
just learning to survive.
Yep. So anyway, then our boy walks by as the girl takes a piss. She's like, "Hey, there's like, why are you fucking looking in here? Well, there's not a door. Well, why are you looking in?
He's like, get away, pervert.
Stop staring. This isn't for you to look at." Yeah. So they go through the building a little
So many
more.
things.
Uh, complain about being hungry. Again, like general survivor bullshit, where it's clear like maybe they've been on the road a while. I think later on we get confirmation they've been on the road for a bit.
Yes, quite a bit.
And then they go inside of one of the bedrooms and they find a corpse there.
Two corpses. A couple
Um,
are together, possibly committed suicide together as they are laying in bed holding hands.
yeah, chances are they probably both. It was probably a yeah, we're gonna go out on our terms situation. It also kind of gives me like, I wonder if that's supposed to be foreshadowing too.
There's there are going to be some very hard moments in this series,
Hmm.
like a lot of gut wrenching moments.
I kind of assumed,
Like
and I'm happy to hear that. Again, I'm curious, like maybe that's how this series is gonna end is with the two of them dying together, like
I
establishing early and then paying it off way late.
yeah, which knowing what's gone so far in this show and in the manga, it's a high possibility. Very high.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's an after the Fallout situation. It's kind of like a wasteland thing. It's not unrealistic to think that's potentially where it's going. Um, so there, then they start prepping food. And we find out the name of the family, but overall, kind of like just going through what we're going through. Like it
Yeah,
shows that they've kind of shows like they've kind of done this for a little bit of a while. Um,
and you
th-
learn don't just cook random plants you find. Know what they are first.
I mean, they have like a bunch of cans and shit.
Yeah,
Which,
but they ruined it because she mixed them.
yeah, and we get Oni mask.
Oh, the Oni.
I'll be honest, like if you're living in that world, chances are you're probably willing to eat just about fucking anything.
Yeah.
Like, oh hey, this is food. It might not be good, but I'm gonna finish it. And then we get
We get
Maru.
our
Maru's
glimpse.
the girl, right?
Maro's the guy.
Oh, why do okay. So it's what was her name then?
Kira.
Okay. We get her looking at a picture of a dude who
Well, Kiriko, but
mhm.
Kira.
We get
Or
her
Seth.
looking at a picture of a guy and he's like, "Oh, you're looking at is that like your boyfriend or something?"
The picture of Spike.
Yeah, Spike Spiegel, very similar looking. Yeah,
Okay, I no nothing.
yep.
I hurt myself thinking
That's
about
fair.
things.
I mean, he does look like Spike Spiegel, but
Yeah.
we also get like two specific drops for her motivations. So, well, first of all, we find out specifically she is Maru's bodyguard,
Yep.
and that she is Hope. They're two people. These two pictures that she has are people that she's hoping or expecting she will run into somewhere out in the wasteland. An old friend of hers is what she says is the dude. I'm assuming, I mean, I could be wrong. It could be the opposite, but I don't think it is. So it's an
No,
old
you're
friend
right.
of hers, and it's a doctor, specifically a doctor she has some sort of past with. And it's the
Yep.
two of them that she carries a picture with her. So clearly very important. Clearly that's going to be like a driving force for her character for at least this season, if not like further on in the show. And then they go to bed.
And then we get our glimpse of the monster.
Yeah. It's kind of like a cool little it's a cool design. I like it more when we get to see it fully
Mm-hmm.
because we kind of see it a little bit here, but it looks just like kind of a giant pro. I think when we actually see it in action, it's much more interesting.
You're gonna enjoy a lot. I think a lot of the monster designs.
I Again, I'm very cautiously optimistic. This is going a different direction than the last several things we've watched. It's out of the shows we're watching right now, Evangelion's probably the closest in terms of sensibility to monster design, and even then they are not close.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Mhm. Like, I can't really say for sure that, like, I think Dandadan will eventually get there with some of the design choices, but even then, not exactly the same. Like, it's not going to be the same, like, DNA to it, you know?
Hmm.
There's going to be, like, some similarities just because Dandadan uses everything and it's a throw everything at the wall and see what sticks sort of show. But this, like, definitely has its own style and its own sensibilities, and it really, yeah, it feels very unique and original, which is kind of hard to do anymore. And especially when we see this thing in action, I think like that also speaks to originality too, like the way
I love how it attacks
it's a
and
really
kills.
cool choice. I really like it too. I think it's one of the better choices. And definitely what made it the more interesting, the making a like whipping it. I mean, I don't. Do we get that in this episode? Again, I'm trying to
No,
remember specifically. Spoiler: we get it has like a whipping type of attack to it.
yeah,
Yep. Yeah. We get a lot of long shots as they're walking down like roads, using a map to try to like navigate the new urban, like genuinely an urban jungle at this point, considering how
hmm
much nature has moved back in to reclaim
the
the city,
overgrowth has taken everything.
which is also something cool that I really like. Like, I've watched stuff before where a lot of people claim like if humans just disappeared, pretty quickly, nature would just start to reclaim, and it wouldn't be too long before like buildings were overgrown with vegetation. So it's kind of cool to see that in this. Anyway, though, so then we get our first glimpse at other people, where we have these like sort of like bandits almost, but they're like clearly people who were just normal folks. And I appreciate that like we like one of them's wearing like a fucking suit.
Yeah,
Like one of
and
them
his
looks like
big
was
goofy
probably a
glasses.
mechanic. Like it does make me kind of curious like how far out in the future it is. I've got like a little bit of an idea of it because it feels like some of the things that are said kind of lead me to believe that at least some of this happened during our two main characters' lifetime, so sometime within the last 20 years. But again, I could be completely wrong on that.
No, you're pretty on.
Um, yeah, so then we get our first glimpse at the ray gun, and
I
this
do
thing,
want to point out before
yep,
that the one with the suit and the overcoat and the fluffy hair
mhm.
looks just like like one of the main characters from Like a Dragon, Yu Naba.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, you're not wrong. I need to replay that game soon.
It's
I need
so
to play
good.
the new one. Well, not the new one. I need to play the one
The
from
one where he
like
went
a
to Hawaii.
year or so ago. Infinite Wealth, the Hawaii one,
Yeah.
and then maybe the pirate one too, because that looks like it's fun. Yeah, no, now that you said it, like, yeah, he 100% looks like Namba. But anyway, so we get a ray gun attack. Um, I fucking love this thing. It's just like an old school ray gun design. Like it's not like super old school, but you look at this thing and you're like, that's just a fucking laser gun. That's a laser pistol right there. We also get our boy Maru is clearly like a fairly skilled fighter.
Oh, is he ever?
Like just he is wailing on these fuckers. And
Makes you
then
think
one
why
shot
he
from the
needs a
ray.
bodyguard.
I mean, considering what they run into in these first two episodes, it makes sense to me why he needs a bodyguard. Like he can handle his shit on his own, but having another set of eyes in this environment really benefits him.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so pew pew, and now a fucking light post melts and falls over.
I love the fact that it just didn't blow a hole, that it physically has to melt it.
Yeah, that was a really nice touch. I do love that too, because that implies a few things about how it works. Like obviously, this isn't like some sort of like force attack. It is a actual like it's a laser. It heats it up. Like I it's cool. I appreciates it as well. Yeah. Um then we get I believe it's in the next scene we get the reveal on Tomato Heaven, right?
Tomato heaven.
And specifically they are looking for a place called Heaven for Maru.
Correct.
And they're like, well, I mean, we're basically going to look for any sort of heaven. So you say this is Tomato Heaven, that might be where we're going. I guess we're going to go there.
Yeah.
Even if it isn't, I mean, hey, food's food. Might as well.
Oh, and they are holding these guys at gunpoint this entire time, by the way.
Yes, but they're also charging the batteries for the gun.
They have no clue until after it's
Yeah. Well, I mean, like they're charging the entire time, but like they're holding them hostage. Like, okay, so it makes sense that they must think like, oh, they must have more than one battery. And they finish charging. It's like, yep. All right. Well, hey, there's our battery. Now we can walk around with this thing fully charged again.
of the reaction.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's so good. Like where they're just visibly hurt by the fact that they were just held at gunpoint with an unloaded gun, basically. Not only that, but like, I love he gives because he doesn't know what the battery is. He gives her the battery and it's like, all right, well, here's your battery. What is it for, by the way? Oh, it's so I have my gun. Oh, you can go fuck yourself and die.
You can go to hell and die.
Yeah. Love the. I hope you both get eaten by a bear. Then she points the actually loaded gun at them, and they like all scramble away. Like this show doesn't have like a lot. Like it's not again comparing to other shows we've watched. I would say the humor in this is a little more low key than like Kaiju number 8 was, or Dan to
Yep.
Dan, or like Orb. Orb had a lot of higher key comedy. This is a little more low key, a little more relaxed, but like it does have its funny moments.
Yeah, no, when this show has this moment, it hits.
Hmm.
and then it's gonna have its moments, and it's gonna hit real deep, and it's gonna make you feel bad.
I mean, I kind of have to assume that. Yeah, so off they go to Tomato Heaven.
Tomato heaven.
And then we cut back to the school. Um at this point again, I still feel like the school is the weak spot for me. I which is why again, I think it was smart to start with the school because I think if it had
Mhm.
started with the road trip part, I probably wouldn't connect to this at all.
Yeah,
At least
solid.
not yet. Not yet. Maybe like more down the line I would, but as of right now, it's just definitely the less interesting of the two.
Um, the further along this story goes, the more interesting, a lot more actually.
Mhm.
Um, the school gets way more interesting
Which
and way more impactful.
I I definitely believe that's the case because like they are there's clearly stuff going on there and like my assumption is this is heaven. This is the heaven they're going to try to find. Like because here's this super advanced technological facility. Like that's got to be the heaven. Like they're going there for Maru because Maru's specifically the one trying to get to heaven,
Hmm.
and Maru's doppelganger is there.
Yeah. Which I believe her name was Takio.
Yes, probably at some point I might
It's been a
remember their
minute.
names. I'll probably
Well,
remember their names better than I remembered the names of the characters in Singular Point, just because
dude, I still don't
they seem
remember
more
any of those.
likable.
I don't remember any of them.
Yeah, I remember Jet
I've already
Jaguar's
forgot.
name. Jet Jaguar was a character.
No, no, monsters don't count because we've had them for the past 30 something years for us
Yeah.
and 70 for the world.
Yep. Which is why it was easy to remember Jet Jaguar, even though I don't normally like him.
I hate Jet.
uh, but yeah, so again, we get like some scenes of walking around. We get that one boy who jumps off of the building, does a superhero landing, then runs off. Like it's kind of given me, especially with what we'll see in the next episode, like some genetic manipulation vibes.
Well, we've had this one, and then we had the girl at the very beginning who predicted the future.
Yeah. Like again, it's clear there's something going on here. Also, there's this one girl who has like hair and there's like rough patches here that make me feel like they're like ears almost. Like they're gonna stand up at some point. Just
There's
the
a
way it
possibility.
looks, and I could be completely wrong, but it makes me the way her hair looks makes me think that's what it should be.
All I can say is I'm happy you're paying attention to these character designs.
I mean, like that's 90% of what is in the school scenes right now are like very specific character designs. And like all of them have really like there's I was gonna say unique features, but like kind of also not unique features considering again we have two characters that look identical too, but that in itself is unique, and it kind of again it there's something going on here where like they're like clones or they're genetically modified or like grown in a laboratory or something like that's the vibe I'm getting from this facility where they have to like these kids are the experiment and that's very like I don't know specifically which one of those answers it is. I don't know if any of them are right, but I know these kids are some sort of experiment because they can't not be.
You are on a lot of right tracks, but also somewhat on the wrong tracks.
Okay. Again, like that's just the vibe I'm getting right now, and I'm sure as the show goes on and as I get more information, I'll start to narrow it down. But like just having like some genre sense that I do, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting right now.
Yeah, no. Watching, 'cause this is my third watch through of this. Watching it on the second time, like being it, like everything just bleeds together so well.
Hmm.
Like this makes so much more sense,
Okay,
but in like the best way possible. Not like singular point, which still makes no damn sense. And I watched that 2 or 3 times.
fair. Yeah, so then we get an older lady in a wheelchair who I get the impression is probably the head of this school.
Correct.
Oh, yep. They call her the director. Yeah, that's right. And then we get like a couple of other people who work under her. One that looks like a scientist, one that looks like a teacher. And Tokyo specifically like asks about the outside world. And again, I think that curiosity is also going to play into it. Like she's inquisitive about the world and what it's like out there. And I think given again, Maru is out in the world, Maru looks exactly like her, that's playing with something too. I'm trying to figure out what they're connect like it's more than just they look alike. Like they are related in some way. I have to assume that. Like it can't be that two characters look this similar without being related in some capacity. Like, and given that one of them is growing up in some sort of science facility, like a certain albino character that we've been ragging on for at this point months.
I don't know what you're talking about. I would never.
Yep, yep. This is totally not going to come out after all the fucked up shit we've said. This isn't going to be. This isn't going to. For the viewers out there, hypothetically, this is coming out in the like last third of our watch of Evangelion. Yes,
Oh
Josh, we are
God.
that far out on these ones.
Oh God.
Yeah, so this is going to be coming out like in the last third of it. I want to say like maybe at the earliest episode like 14 of Evangelion at the earliest. Like definitely in the
Okay.
back half. But yeah, so we've been saying some messed up shit about albino people and now we're watching another show with two characters that are borderline. We don't actually hate you albino people. We're just taking the piss.
Yeah.
It's Ray we don't like.
Ray's a shit character.
And that's mainly because of waifu culture.
Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, though, so we cut back over to our road crew, which is again the fun part, and they are exhausted. It seems as though at this point they're in the countryside, so they've been walking for a while, and Maru gives what's her name again?
Kiriko.
Gives Kiriko crap for being a city girl.
Yeah. Very happy.
Um,
It's ironic.
Also, I do love that Kiriko doesn't really know for sure how old she is. And specifically, she says 18 and then says, no, wait, 20.
Hmm.
So that also gives some specific vibes. And again, given I'm going to take a couple stabs at what's going on with her now, too.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
I'm actually super curious on this one.
Okay, so and this is me taking a stab, and we're gonna get more in the next episode. So spoiler on that one too. Um, so I'm not gonna get too far into the whole other aspect of that character. Maybe that gets talked about in this episode, but I'm pretty sure it's episode 2 it gets talked about.
Episode 2.
Yeah, but the whole age discrepancy thing, that's got to do with the doctor for sure. Like based off of the fact that she's looking for this doctor, she's in this post-apocalyptic world, she's just like covered in scars. There's some sort of medical thing going on related to the doctor that is the reason why she isn't for sure like she can't keep track exactly of how old she is. Maybe it's like oh, we put you in cryostasis thing. Maybe it's oh, we did some other bullshit to you. Like there's something going on with her background related to the doctor, which is why she doesn't know for sure how old she is.
Yes. All I'm going to say is yes.
Um,
There there's some shit.
again, I'm sure. I'm just taking a stab at it right now. And again, that's just like I'm sure I'm right to a point, but also way off base. Where like
You're
some of
you're
what I'm
not
said,
as
I'm
far off as you think.
okay. Again, I my assumption though is it's related to the doctor, and that's like my big key point on why she doesn't know how old she is, or
You're like
knows how old she is, but struggles to be accurate with it.
you're like right on the peak of it.
hmm And that's again, I'm sure as the season goes on, I'll hone in on the specific reason, or it'll be dropped on me right as I'm figuring it out. I don't know, but
It's
that's my
gonna get
thought process.
it's definitely gonna get dropped.
Okay. Anyway, so they're traveling along and they run into an inn of sorts. Well, not
Well,
like a sort of inn
yeah.
where there's a lady who's running this inn and she's got chickens and she's gonna let them stay at her place for real cheap.
Mhm.
And she feels kind of bad from that's why. So she like they give her batteries to kind of like even it out because they feel bad too. And Kiriko checks the ledger to see if the people she's looking for is in there. She doesn't see their names. Um, and she name drops the guy's name is Robin Izanagi, and the older one she doesn't know for sure what his name is. That she just knows that he's a doctor.
Yep. They just owned by Duck.
Yep. And then she asks about, oh, do you know about a place named Heaven? It's like, well, no, but that's what everyone thinks about this place. So hey.
Hey.
And then we get the reveal of Kiriko just being covered in scars, and
Ah,
she becomes like she's like looking at herself in the mirror and getting kind of weirdly sexual with herself about it.
yes.
Like clearly leaning in to make out with her own reflection. So
Yeah.
again, I'm
We're gonna
think
bring this up later.
like maybe so I want to because I do have a slightly more what I think it's going to be guess related to the doctor. but I think that ties in more with the stuff we get next episode, and I don't want to get too far into that yet because we get like a specifically big info drop next episode that is really closely tied to this character,
Hmm.
and I think my big theory comes from that on what's going on with her.
Okay.
Like, I want, yeah, that's where I'm going with this. Anyway, though, so yeah, the innkeeper comes in and shocks her out of her her weirdly horny self stupor, and she gets real embarrassed and's like, all right, thanks for the bath stuff. I'm gonna go hop out into the bath water now.
Okay.
Yep. Again,
Shampoo's on the left.
like a solid little character beat that I actually do appreciate. Like it seems interesting. It seems fun, and it's a funny little beat. Like that humor that we talked about.
Mhm.
It's not like crazy over the top, but it's just funny enough, you know.
Like I said, it just hits right when it
Hmm.
tries to be funny.
So yeah, so they go through their night routine, and Kiriko
Uh,
asks about why she has a gun, and she reveals that there's a monster that prowls around at night, and that's when we get like the name drop of there are these things called man eaters out there in the world, and they're these big, as she calls them, big, freaky, confusing looking monsters. And she
you're
offers that
right.
they are good at killing them. We can kill it for you.
Uh,
And forgot they call it the Kiru beam.
yeah.
But yeah, then we get oh yeah, guns don't work on it. Well, my Kiru beam might. And
How's that?
the innkeeper lets her pot overflow. So she's lost in thought of some kind.
Like she may be hiding something.
Yeah, yeah, well, I mean, yeah. So she makes them this really good looking stew. And of
Yeah, I
course,
hate the fact that some anime food just looks so good.
yeah, yeah. There's been a few shows of like YouTube shows I've watched where they just try to recreate foods like this.
I haven't had a good stew in a while, too.
I've had good curry, but I have to the last good curry I had because I've been to like a few restaurants that had it, but I haven't had curry at restaurants. Like I'm a real good curry cook.
I see. I can't. I haven't been able to make a good curry yet.
I like to play with my spices a lot. Like I test it as I make it to see if it's hitting where I want it to be. Like you have to play around with it and like adjust it as you're cooking it.
Yeah, it's like I cook a lot of stuff and a lot of stuff good. Curry is not one of them yet.
Yeah. Uh, so anyway, the lady's like, "Hey, so there's something I need to talk with you guys about. You two are siblings. You shouldn't be fucking each other." And
This
Kiriko's
part
like,
made me
"Yeah."
die when I was watching.
Yeah. So Kiriko's like, "No, you don't understand. We're not like actually related. He's calling me sis. That doesn't mean I'm actually his sister." And she's like, the innkeeper's like, "Oh, I messed up. Sorry. This is embarrassing for both of us now."
She's like, "Oh, thank God."
Yep.
It's like inbreeding can cause horrible effects.
Yep. And then we find out like that she was asked by someone else that she knew to take care of him, which is why she did it.
Hmm.
And they're not really close, and he doesn't matter, and he gets all upset.
Oh. I
because
feel like he
he
has a
has a
little crush.
crush. Yeah, and then it's lights out time.
Lights out indeed.
Kyoko gets ready for sleep and comments on how tired she is, like stumbles and falls down, which is our first hint that they've both been drugged.
Yeah. She hid drugs in the stew.
hmm And then we get her
The
pulling out that fucking gun, loading it up, and we get uh
the
we get the man eater
real
ready.
reveal. I I really love his design, especially when we get to see it in the next episode.
Uh-huh.
That face.
Well, so it kind of, correct me if I'm wrong. Look this up, Josh. Does it look like a Yata Guru? I think it does. Like it looks like an old school like folktale monster from Japanese folklore.
A little bit.
hmm So I'm wondering if we're gonna get like some of that where it's like a modernized take on like folk monsters, maybe. Anyway, we find out that people at the school are like, hey, so this is the world out there is fucking disgusting and garbage and covered in monsters, and it's
Yeah.
hell, and this is heaven. And then we get a look at the fucking man eater's face, and it's got a gross ass mass of eyes and a mouth.
Yeah.
And that was the first episode.
It's fucking
Um,
great.
so yeah, I enjoyed it. Um, I've kind of thrown out my thoughts on what I think is going to happen. Um, anything you want to talk about, Josh, before we call this one?
No, because if I start talking, I'm going to ruin a lot of things.
Okay, fair enough.
I
Um,
want to keep so much hidden.
understandable. All right, with that, then we will call this one. Tune in next time where we talk about episode two, Two Confessions. Bye bye.
Bye now.